So you're thinking about moving to Loveland, Colorado. Well, before you start packing, there's a few things that you really need to know. Now, sure, Loveland might look like the perfect Colorado mountain town. I mean, it has mountain views, cozy neighborhoods, and the charming name, of course, Loveland, but the reality might surprise you. From the unexpected costs and hidden taxes to environmental concerns and a nightlife that goes to bed early, Loveland isn't always what it seems at first glance. Make sure and stick around because I'm going to share my 6 crucial points that could save you from some serious buyer's remorse. What's up, beautiful people? My name is Noah, your Northern Colorado real estate and lifestyle expert. And if you have any questions about Loveland real estate or relocating to Northern Colorado, all you have to do is shoot me a text or phone call at my cell, which is 720-741-7474. I am the only one who answers all the questions from people just like you. Now it's time to get real on Loveland, Colorado. Loveland, Colorado is one of the fastest growing cities in Northern Colorado and a place that's caught the attention of a lot of people looking to relocate. Now, if you've been researching Loveland, you probably already know it has a lot going for it. Beautiful parks, a thriving art scene, family-friendly neighborhoods, and proximity to a bunch of amazing outdoor activities. But there are some crucial things that you should know and some that might absolutely surprise you. In this video, I'm going to cover 6 key points that you absolutely need to know before packing your bags. We're going to talk about the cost of housing, the higher taxes, the actual distance from the mountains, Loveland's limited or lack of nightlife. We're going to talk about fracking and some environmental concerns, as well as some deep-rooted issues with the local law enforcement. Now, before we get started, I want everybody to know that yes, I love Loveland. It's one of my absolute favorite places in Colorado. But at the end of the day, there are some things that if you are doing research and you're planning on relocating to Northern Colorado, that you might just want to know, and we are going to cover every single one of them in this video. Let's jump in and start with the cost of housing, which is going to be your largest expense during your relocation process. Now, when people think about Loveland, they often imagine a more affordable alternative than Boulder or Fort Collins. The reality is that Loveland is more reasonably priced, but still commands a hefty price tag for housing. The median home price for a 3-bedroom home as of November 2024 is $515,000 and was as high as $525,000 in March. The average United States home value is $357,469. So Loveland is about $200,000 more expensive than the national average. And rent is also going to set you back roughly about $2,340 for that same 3-bedroom house. Now, don't get me wrong, Loveland's housing market comes with perks. Good schools, well-maintained parks, and established neighborhoods with mature trees and a lot of character. But the average home price is definitely higher here. And if you're on a budget and just need a home right here in Northern Colorado, you might want to explore other communities like Johnstown, Milliken, Severance, Greeley, Evans, and Eaton, where real estate values are going to be slightly lower. Now, it's important to point out that real estate values in Colorado are going to continue to appreciate over time. Now, this is due to the supply and demand of housing. Obviously, Northern Colorado is an absolutely amazing place to live, and as a result, you aren't the only people who are looking to relocate to this beautiful area. Now, the influx of people is going to keep upward pressure on the market and upward pressure on real estate values. Now, if you're a homeowner, this is a huge deal because you get to build massive amounts of wealth in relatively short amount of times through the appreciation in your property. Now, a lot of my past clients have asked me to, hey, let's go ahead and find a rental for the first year while we figure out what neighborhood we want to be in. And this is a great technique in order to find exactly the place that you want to be. But I'm going to be really honest with you, there's really no bad areas in Loveland or the surrounding areas. Now, renting can cost you upwards of $30,000 a year, and property is going to appreciate about 3.5% to 4% a year if you take a look back at the historical averages. So that means that you might be out of pocket if you choose to rent about $70,000. And for some of my clients, they just didn't want to waste that money. They wanted to jump in the market, find the great house in this absolutely great city. city. Now let's move on and talk about everybody's favorite topic, which is of course taxes. Now the higher taxes catch a lot of new people off guard. Now we're talking about property taxes in Loveland are actually going to be slightly higher than some of the surrounding areas. And one of the contributing factors to this is the widespread use of what is called a metropolitan district in these newer neighborhoods. Now this is short and we just use the term metro district, and that often means an additional line item on your property tax bill. Now this comes from the municipality actually lending money to the developers to put in the infrastructure for the development. We're talking about power, sewer, roads, gutters, drainage, electric, plumbing, all of the things that you need to build a neighborhood. The municipality loans that money to the developer, and then the developer is going to go ahead and be able to build more affordable housing because of the subsidy from the municipality. Now, when you move into those neighborhoods, you're going to pay that metro tax district, which is a little bit higher taxes to pay back the municipality for actually loaning the money to the developer. Another thing that you want to keep track of is what county you're actually looking in, because Larimer County, where Loveland is actually located, typically has higher overall taxes than Weld County, which encompasses some of the more affordable towns and communities that I mentioned earlier in this video. Now, for some people and for most, these higher tax rates are acceptable because they're getting better roads, public amenities, planned community features, and for others, it's an absolute deal breaker. So make sure you factor this into your long-term budget before making a move. Now, the third thing on today's list might surprise you, as you have probably seen beautiful photos of Loveland, and right behind it seems to be the beautiful Rocky Mountains. But they're not really that close. Now let's hop over to this map so I can explain. So I've got the map of obviously Loveland, Colorado pulled up right here. We're gonna zoom in. We're gonna take a look at what I mean, because yes, here is the city of Loveland right here. And look, yes, you do have access to the mountains up through Drake. Okay, so you can do some hiking, some biking, some camping. But one of the major things that people do here in the state of Colorado is we have some of the absolute world's best ski resorts. And if we take a look at this map, if traffic on I-70 is good, you're looking at a minimum of 2 hours in the vehicle just to get to Keystone Resort. So let's go ahead and jump into this map so I can go ahead and show you a little bit of why Loveland isn't necessarily the place to be if you are going to take advantage of the world-class ski resorts we have here in Colorado. And one of the things that throws people off is, yes, if we take a look at the map right here, Loveland sits right at the base of the Rocky Mountains. Now, a couple of things. You do have access all the way up through Drake, which is going to take you into the beautiful Rocky Mountain National Park, where you can camp, you can hike, mountain bike. I mean, the endless opportunities for adventure here in Colorado are a real thing. However, if you're thinking, hey, the Loveland Ski Resort is just right behind Loveland, you would actually be mistaken, because here we show the Loveland ski area is kind of right up I-70 and is about a 2-hour drive to get to the Loveland Ski Resort. So yes, Loveland does sit close to the mountains, but if you're into skiing, you are going to spend a minimum of 2 hours in the vehicle if the traffic on I-70 isn't horrible, which it is about 85% of the time. So the mountain access for Loveland, you are going to have instant access to the mountains for hiking, biking, camping, and getting to the Rocky Mountain National Park. But if you want to go enjoy some of Colorado's best skiing and snowboarding, you're going to have to be in the car for about 2 hours, which, to be honest with you, I just went last Thursday and it was 100% worth the drive. Now, living in Loveland does give you relatively quick access to the Rocky Mountains National Park, which is about an hour away, with great hiking, scenic drives along the Big Thompson Canyon. But if you dream of waking up, hopping in your car and being on the slopes in a half an hour, Loveland might leave you slightly disappointed. And yes, the mountains are visible and they're beautiful, but close is a relative term, because you're still going to need to plan a day if you want to go ahead and hit the slopes. Now let's jump in and talk about the nightlife, or the the lack of nightlife. And when it comes to nightlife, Loveland is more of a quiet dinner out with the family town than a dance club and bars that stay open until 2 a.m. Now, the city is absolutely known for being a family-friendly place, and while there are a growing craft brewery scene and some new restaurants revitalizing the downtown area, the choices are definitely more limited compared to, say, Fort Collins or Boulder when it comes to being out and getting in the nightlife. Now, local breweries often close early, and the city tends to wind down before midnight. And if you're single or just someone who loves the nightlife scene, you might find Loveland's after dark options very underwhelming. But good news for you is Fort Collins is only about 20 minutes north and has a more robust nightlife, offering a college town atmosphere with late night eateries, music venues, and of course, a livelier bar scene. Now, all this being said, Loveland does host community events, outdoor summer concerts, and has an expanding art district. Just don't expect a late night party hotspot. Now we're going straight from the nightlife, talking about something that might be more concerning, and that is fracking. Now, fracking, or another term for it is hydraulic fracturing, is a hot topic for northern Colorado. It's a process of drilling into the underground rock layers, and they pump it full of hydraulic fluid, extracting oil and natural gas. Now, Loveland's relatively lenient local regulations on oil and gas have recently attracted some bad attention. Some developers are planning to install well pads very close to residential areas, as close as 500 feet from planned home sites. Now, this has raised serious concerns about health and environmental impacts, especially with research suggesting that living within 500 feet of an active well can have negative health impacts. Mick Whitney, a well-known developer in this region, announced plans earlier this year to drill 26 wells across 2 pads in Loveland's Centura area. Now, one of these pads sits near the Big Thompson River and close to the under construction Kensington development. Residents worry about the air quality, water contamination, and of course, a little bit of noise. For most locals, they have grown up around the fracking industry and understand the pros and cons. But if environmental issues and proximity to drilling operations are a concern for you, it's something just to research carefully before committing to an exact neighborhood. Now, what I would suggest doing if this is a concern for you is connecting with a local advocacy group, checking the updated maps for drilling sites before you purchase a home. Now let's jump into the final topic of this video, which is a hot one for locals, and that is the police corruption and law enforcement issues. Now, the reason this makes the video list is because I did a pros and cons video on Loveland, Colorado, and I had several local people reach out to me and say, hey, why didn't you talk about the police corruption and some of the law enforcement issues that we've been facing lately? And that's why this is coming in at number 6 in this video. Now, Loveland, just like any other city, has faced its share of controversies with local law enforcement. Now, with approximately 119 police officers and around 70 professional staff, the Loveland Police Department isn't huge, but it has seen criticism and accusations in the recent years. Now, concerns over policing tactics, corruption, and accountability have appeared in many local news and community forums, leaving some residents feeling uneasy. Now, if local government and law enforcement policies matter to you, I would encourage you to dig a little bit deeper. Attend community meetings, read up on recent incidences and reforms, and consider talking to the current residents about what their experience is. Now, you can simply do this by reaching out over any of the Loveland Facebook groups, or just shoot me a call. Now, there are a lot of people who live in Loveland happily and feel protected and safe, but being aware of these issues helps ensure that you are making an informed decision. So there you have it. 6 things you should absolutely know before moving to Loveland, Colorado. And there's absolutely no denying that Loveland has a lot to offer. We're talking about great schools, beautiful open space, the growing art scene, the location that puts you within reach of both city life and mountain adventures. But like every city, it comes with trade-offs such as the cost, taxes, fracking, and questions about law enforcement practices. Now, my goal is to make sure you have all the information you need so there's no surprises when you settle in. And if you're looking to move anywhere in northern Colorado, be it Loveland, Longmont, or one of the other smaller communities I mentioned, feel free to reach out to me at 720-741-7474. I'm here to help you find a home that fits your needs in the right town. And if you want to know more about Loveland, check out this video right here where I talk about my top 10 local spots in Loveland, Colorado. And this is an absolute must-see. And remember, stay adventurous, my friends. I'll see you in the next video.